Dustin Hoffman is one of Hollywood's defining actors, a man whose sharp instincts and restless precision shaped some of the most memorable films of the last half-century. For decades, he lived inside a world of noise, deadlines, and constant reinvention. But the version of Hoffman that exists today moves to a different rhythm. Slow mornings, long walks through a shaded garden, and afternoons shaped by routine rather than applause. His life has softened into something warm, grounded, and deliberately quiet. Yet to understand how he reached this honest, unhurried chapter, we first need to look at the long financial story beneath it. Dustin Hoffman's wealth was never built on flash or ostentation. Instead, it grew layer by layer, the product of discipline, selective choices, and a career that thrived with extraordinary longevity. Today, his net worth is around $100 million, a figure that came not from a sudden burst of success, but from decades of steady, carefully managed work. His early career, despite the recognition of his talent by those around him, was largely unpaid. When he filmed The Graduate in 1967, the role that catapulted him to global celebrity, his salary was only about $20,000, and after commissions and taxes, he was left with about $4,000. It wasn't the money, it was the opportunity. But it was the opportunity that changed everything. By the mid-1970s, Hoffman had become one of America's most respected actors. Films like Lenny, All the President's Men, and Marathon Man had taken his earning power to new heights. His first Oscar-winning role in Kramer vs. Kramer not only reshaped his career, it reshaped his worth. Industry insiders estimate he was earning $10 to $12 million in the late 1970s through a combination of salary and post-production deals. The 1980s and 1990s were his strongest financial decades. Tootsie and Rain Man cemented his status as a force, with Rain Man alone reportedly earning Hoffman $10 to $15 million through post-production spots, an unusually lucrative deal at the time. Throughout the 1990s, he maintained a steady income, typically $3 to $7 million per film, with roles in Hook, Outbreak, Sleepers, and Wag the Dog. Then came a new phase. The 2000s and 2010s ushered in new revenue streams, ensemble films, voiceovers, and television. His participation in the Meet the Parents series, along with projects like Runaway Jury, Finding Neverland, and Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium, helped him maintain a steady annual income. His voice acting role in Kung Fu Panda added another layer. Analysts estimate he earned $5 to $8 million for the entire series. Real estate is a quiet pillar of his net worth. Hoffman owns a portion of property on Broad Beach in Malibu, one of California's most expensive stretches of coastline, where homes often start between $8 and $25 million. In 2017, he and his son invested $3 million in a separate development project in the Hollywood Hills, a venture that later collapsed into bankruptcy but was ultimately resolved through legal recovery. That failed investment, however, is entirely separate from the Hollywood Hills estate he personally owns, a nearly $10 million home where he and his family still live today, and the place that anchors his quieter, more grounded life. The additional income from decades of profits, SAG-AFTRA retirement benefits, and a steady conservative investment portfolio quietly solidified his financial foundation. Hoffman never pursued flashy projects. He preferred slow, predictable growth, a mindset that kept him financially stable while many of his peers faced more volatility. All of this, careful decisions, stable contracts, and a lifetime of disciplined work, has created the financial foundation that allows Hoffman to live the way he wants. And that life is most evident inside the house, where he spends almost all of his time. Mansion in Los Angeles. Dustin Hoffman's home on Valley Oak Drive sits quietly in a shaded corner of the Hollywood Hills, a spot where Los Angeles finally feels calm. The 1939 Spanish-style estate, valued around $9.8 million, rests behind a gated entrance and tall trees that filter out the rush of the city long before it reaches the driveway. For an actor who spent decades surrounded by cameras and noise, this stillness is a luxury all on its own. The driveway curves under layers of branches, letting in soft afternoon light, before opening to a warm stucco facade and red tile roof lines that have aged with easy grace. Hoffman didn't choose this home for show. He chose it because it breathes, because sunlight moves across the rooms in long, quiet strokes, and the garden hums gently from morning to night. Inside, high ceilings and skylights fill the home with natural light. The family room opens directly onto the garden, creating an effortless indoor-outdoor flow that shapes his days. Most mornings start here. A slow cup of coffee, a simple conversation with Lisa, and the sound of the breeze slipping in from the patio. Just around the corner, the formal living room keeps that same comfortable pace. Large windows frame the greenery outside, and the seating is arranged not for photos but for real, lingering conversations. One of Hoffman's favorite moments happens here on weekends. Sitting in a soft armchair near the window while one of his sons plays the piano. The light falls across the keys, the house stays quiet, and the music floats through the room in a way that feels like a small piece of the past, returning. The dining room holds a long table that seats 14. It isn't meant for grand parties, it's meant for family. Dinners that stretch over hours, filled with relaxed stories, familiar jokes, and memories that span decades of Hoffman's life and career. The kitchen is the true center of the home. With granite countertops, double ovens, and 2 dishwashers, it's built for everyday use rather than design magazines. This is where breakfasts come together slowly, where last-minute lunches happen without planning, and where late-night meals with children and grandchildren feel more important than any award on the shelf. It's a working kitchen, warm, steady, and lived in. The primary suite is tucked into a more private corner of the house. Vaulted ceilings make the room feel open, a stone fireplace adds a gentle charm, and French doors lead to a small patio surrounded by trees. His and hers closets keep the space organized and calm. The additional bedrooms, each with its own bathroom, sit quietly along the hall, ready for visiting family and longtime friends. Downstairs, the energy changes. A compact screening room with seating for 11 sits next to a game room that opens to the backyard. Hoffman often uses the theater to unwind, to revisit old films, watch classics he once studied as a young actor, or simply enjoy a quiet night without the expectations that once came with fame. Outside, the backyard feels like the home's deep breath. A tropical garden wraps around a serene pool, with palms, ferns, and thick greenery creating a private wall from the outside world. A guest house sits beside the pool, giving visitors their own quiet corner. Evenings often end outdoors under soft lights, with the family gathered near the outdoor fireplace, talking, laughing, or sitting in comfortable silence. This home reflects the Hoffman of today, grounded, thoughtful, and quietly content. A man who has learned to value slow mornings, easy routines, and moments that feel real, and just past the shade of the patio and the open doors, another part of his life waits, sitting in the driveway, ready to carry him through these calmer days. The only question now is, what does a man who values simplicity choose to drive? Car collection. Dustin Hoffman's garage is not the garage of a Hollywood titan. There are no rare supercars or displays meant to impress. Instead, his collection is built on practicality, sentiment, and curiosity, the same quiet values that shape the rest of his life. The first car is the Audi A6, a mid-luxury sedan worth around $55,000. It's the car he uses when he wants to move through Los Angeles unnoticed. In the photo, the black paint and understated design tell the whole story. Hoffman does not care about being seen. He cares about getting where he needs to go. To lunch, to the store, to a friend's house, with zero attention. The second is more emotional. The Porsche 911 Carrera S, valued between $90,000 and $110,000. There's a picture of him standing beside it with his hands in his pockets, looking almost nostalgic. For years, Hoffman took early morning drives along Mulholland Drive in this car, enjoying the cool air and the quiet roads. The 911 is a reminder of a younger, restless version of himself. The risk-taker, the dreamer, the actor, hungry for the next challenge. The third is the Tesla Roadster, worth around $120,000, one of the earliest electric sports cars to make a cultural splash. Hoffman bought it long before EVs became common. The quiet acceleration, the clean design, the novelty of silent speed, it all appealed to him. After decades of loud film sets, this car offered a simple kind of freedom, motion without noise. Taken together, his cars show a man with good taste, clean, well-chosen, and quietly elegant, each one fitting him in a different way. But for all the polish in his garage, the contrast is clear. Hoffman has always been someone who gives more than he takes, especially when it comes to the causes he supports. Philanthropy. Dustin Hoffman's philanthropy reflects who he is at his core: thoughtful, private, and uninterested in public approval. Over the years, he has supported a range of causes quietly, focusing on children, education, health, and the arts, areas that connect deeply with his own experiences and values. One of his earliest commitments was to Camp Ronald McDonald for Good Times, a camp offering free retreats for children battling cancer. Hoffman was among its earliest celebrity supporters in the 1980s, providing foundational help that organizers estimate at over $100,000. His involvement helped secure the camp's future during years when funding was uncertain. He has also supported musicians through MusiCares, contributing an estimated $50,000 to $75,000 over decades of attending benefits and donating to emergency programs that support artists facing financial or medical crises. Education has always resonated with Hoffman, especially initiatives centered on creativity. His contributions to 826 National, a youth writing and tutoring nonprofit, are estimated around $30,000. Funds that support storytelling, confidence building, and academic support for underserved students. Hoffman has also quietly given to the Achievable Foundation, which provides community programs for people with developmental disabilities. His support over the years is believed to exceed $20,000, often delivered through private donations rather than public fundraising. Beyond these, Hoffman has made dozens of unpublicized contributions, silent auction items, private checks, and benefit appearances supporting small arts programs, local schools, and medical organizations. Those familiar with his giving estimate these private contributions total another $100,000 to $150,000. All told, Hoffman's charitable giving likely falls between $300,000 and $400,000, a steady amount built over decades without showmanship or publicity. His donations have always been straightforward and consistent. Today, that same grounded approach defines his private life, where family, routine, and quiet habits matter far more to him than anything fame ever brought. Personal life. Away from cameras and headlines, Dustin Hoffman's life has become remarkably ordinary. And that ordinariness is exactly what he cherishes. He begins most mornings with slow breakfasts and unhurried conversations with his wife, Lisa, the partner who has walked beside him for more than 4 decades. Their days follow a steady rhythm: small errands, short walks, afternoons spent reading or visiting with children and grandchildren. Public sightings tell the same story: Hoffman pushing a stroller down a neighborhood sidewalk, Hoffman choosing plants at a garden center, Hoffman laughing with Lisa over a simple outdoor lunch. These moments reveal a man who no longer performs for the world, but simply moves through it with ease. His home has become a gathering point for family. Grandchildren often fill the backyard with noise and laughter, scattering toys across the patio while Hoffman reads to them under the filtered light of the garden. He has said privately that these are the moments that make him feel most grounded. Not awards, not premieres, but the soft weight of a grandchild leaning against his shoulder. His social circle is intentionally small now. A handful of longtime friends, the occasional dinner, and rare appearances at basketball games or small events. The allegations that surfaced in 2017 remain part of the public narrative around him. But in his private world, life is defined less by controversy and more by the quiet work of showing up for the people who choose him beyond headlines. At this stage of life, Hoffman seems uninterested in legacy. He is focused instead on gentleness, presence, and the everyday routines that bring him closer to the people he loves. The roles that once consumed him have faded into memory. What remains is a quieter man, living deliberately within a small circle of family, home, and simplicity. Thank you for spending time inside this quieter chapter of Dustin Hoffman's life. If you enjoyed the story, remember to like, subscribe, and share, and tell us, whose world should we explore next?